House, and it was one thing, Madam Chair, that seems incredibly clear to me is that the goal of the government with this piece of legislation is to tip the electoral field in their favor.
Agreed.
It's obvious. It's as obvious as the day is wrong. And this is only one example. I'll have more to say later because I'm going to try to stick to this amendment that's before us. But it's pretty obvious that when the government is the one political party that doesn't raise money at their constituencies and really raises it through the central Politburo model, everything in the center, and they're the only ones that won't suffer from this. The chief electoral officer has made it clear that there's no real value to getting these quarterly statements. This is clearly designed to slow down other parties from raising money to tilt the scales in the favor of the current governing party.
Bingo.
Clear as day.
Yep.
I don't know how anybody hearing this, the same thing that I just heard in the last 10, 20 minutes, could come to any other reasonable conclusion.
Agreed.
And when I hear the minister stand up and make the most convoluted, nonsensical excuses to try to cover why the government is doing this to tilt the scales in their favor, it's really embarrassing.
Yep.
Except that a government that determined to essentially cheat and push things in their own favor.
Agreed.
And making it obvious by the light of day that they're doing it, frankly, it's despicable. I think that for me, this should be on the front page of every paper and every newscast tomorrow, because this is a bare-faced attempt to tip the electoral scale in one party's favor. And you know what? And I'm going to stop here soon, except for the fact is, and I'll talk about this later, this isn't the only thing in the legislation that does that.
Oh, you're not kidding.
And I will talk more about it later, and I won't do it now because, as you know, you think you made a request to us to talk to the amendment before us. This is not the only example of where the government has tried to tip the scales in their favor and against everybody else's in this legislation, and I will be only too pleased to expand upon that later on in the debate. Unfortunately, entirely contrary to what the minister said, it really is as simple as that. Either the government supports this or they don't care about democracy. Clear as day.
Great.
Thank you, Honourable Member. The Honourable